Hi, and welcome to the Hankerts Neighbors. This is the second house to the southwest of the Hanker residence. Working down the hallway into the great room, off to the right is where their TV is going to sit, and that's where the speaker connections all come up. You can see we got power to the left, we got a cable connection, and then all the speaker runs come up. I'm going to back up and kind of show this wall. The studs are all in strange positions because there's a porch on the outside. So just for reference purposes, the stud space is 13 1/4 with the cable box. Then we have a 9 1/2. Then we got a bunch of oddball things, 2 1/2. And there's like a little 1 1/2 space there. We've got a 9 1/2 space. And then we have a 13 1/2, and that brings us right to the window. The center speaker cable runs at about a 61-inch height, pretty much the length of the wall. So when we go to cut in the speaker, we can cut our opening, reach in, grab it, and pull it back. But it runs horizontally at 61 inches, pretty much from the door all the way over to the window. In the stud space, with the cable and speaker connection box, as we pan up, you can see there's a cable, there's a speaker wire, goes all the way to the top and wraps around. That'll be the front right speaker that we will cut in after the fact, and we can just reach in our hole and grab the speaker wire. As we look down, we can see some wires going into the floor space. Those are the wires going to the front patio and to the rear speakers. Let's take a look at the patio speaker cable first. As we walk toward the lake, right in the corner there's a real small space where I was able to sneak the wires up. Fireplace to the left, windows to the right. Now above the window space, you can see that the front left speaker cable sits right there. That's a 14 1/2 opening. And the center of the opening is 24 inches from the fireplace. Going up that same space is a 14-4 wire that goes above the fire cavity. We go across the door headers. You can see the speaker wires hanging out here. And I'm just going to show a quick look out into the soffit area. Out here in the soffit is where they will have one of their speakers set up. But there's a 14-2 and a 14-4. So the left to right channel go out there, then the right channel passes through, of course, to this wire heading over to the west. By the way, those holes that we just looked through are plugs that I will screw into place and insulate once we're all done with this. Here's the second soffit speaker. Important to note, there's a stud right there. We should be able to feel that stud from the outside when we go to cut the speakers in. But that stud lines up with the edge of the window and edge of the door. As we look to the southwest wall, I wanted to point out there's a phone jack, then an outlet, and the next stud space is where the 14-4 cable comes up through the floor. That travels all the way up near the top, and I actually bring it back to the left 3 stud spaces. The final placement of the speaker we can do after the cabinets are mounted, because there's some marks and drawings on the floor that kind of indicate some kind of cabinet work. So there's a speaker up there someplace, but we'll determine it after the cabinets are in there. So we got a 14-4 coming up through the floor, and then a 14-2 that's going back toward the lake above the windows. And we are in that 13-inch space right there above the edge of the window. We are in that space because it is symmetrical with the space behind me for the front left speaker. So these two speakers in the room will be opposite each other, or as close as possible. But that's it for now. I'll get some measurements, put my plugs in, and that'll wrap up the second house. Thanks, bye. Talk to you soon.